What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Power Play with CJ. I want to focus on the Mikhail Grigorenko situation in Buffalo and why it's one of the most ludicrous rules of all time. I'm not afraid of pissing off some people with this rant. Mikhail Grigorenko is not ready for the NHL, but he's outgrown juniors. But they can't send him to the AHL because the NHL is in agreement with juniors. So basically, the NHL can't send him to an affiliated league because they have an agreement with a non-affiliated league. But the NHL has no issue doing this with college kids and stealing them right off campuses mid-season. But doing it to a junior kid's a big deal. I think once you get drafted, if you're ready to play professional hockey, you should be allowed to play professional hockey, whether that's at the AHL or the NHL level. It's ridiculous. I think juniors has too much control, and like I said, Grigorenko's at that weird point in his development where getting bottom 6 minutes in the NHL isn't beneficial to him, but at the same time, going in and averaging 3 points a game in juniors doesn't challenge him enough. What are you going to do? Personally, the NHL should rip up the agreement with juniors. They've had this agreement for far too long. Originally, it was because so much of the money was built in Canadian markets, they had to appease Canadian junior fans. It's like, all right. But I'm sure, your average Canadian junior hockey fan would agree with me. It's better for a kid's development if they've outgrown juniors to be in the AHL than to be putting up ridiculous numbers of juniors. It's just not fair. And like I said, they have no issue with the European kids or the college kids playing in the AHL at 19 or 20. It's at 18 or 19. And like I said, this agreement with juniors is obsolete, and I'd like to see the NHL take a stand against it and say, you know what, you guys have had control for too long, you've outgrown your control, and if a kid is ready to play in the AHL, it should be up to the discretion of the NHL teams, for him to do that. I still don't understand why this rule is in place. It's obsolete. And too many kids are getting screwed in the development process because they're not being in a position where they can play against men on night in night out basis and get top 6 minutes against men. It's one or the other. They're either riding pine in the NHL or like I said, playing against kids. This doesn't benefit anyone. As far as it benefits juniors, it gets money into the pocket of the CHL. That's for damn sure. The Q, the O, and the Dub will take the money and run. But because they can advertise Mikhail Grigorenko or Zadorov in London, a guy like that, that's back in juniors despite really not needing it. But, that's the nature of the beast, and hopefully, like I said, the NHL does something with this, because this is just stupid. Grigorenko's the real deal, but, I'd rather have him in the AHL playing in the power play, being the first-line center in Rochester, as opposed to being up with one of the worst teams in the NHL. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, like I said, Bettman has no issue screwing over the fans that, are the reason he can make $7 million a year. Why doesn't he tell juniors to go fuck himself? F you, CHL. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, that's our next episode of The Power Play with CJ on the Mikhail Grigorenko NHL CHL agreement. See you for episodes throughout the season and beyond. Later, guys.